What's up, everyone? My name is Alex, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. I want to talk about why I chose my pronouns. I might end up renaming this video. I didn't know what to name this video, but basically, why these pronouns? Why do I use he, him, his, or Amairs? Why that decision? So he, him pronouns are very much tied to my malehood and my masculinity. Masculinity being a way for me to pass as male. So I use he, him pronouns specifically as a way of passing. It is my auxiliary pronouns. It means that, by default, you can use those no matter what, and those are like safe to use for me if you don't know what else to use, or if you didn't know what my other pronouns were, or if you didn't know like how to use Amair's pronouns. But I really wanted to find a set that reflected the more non-binary part of my identity. At the time of considering pronouns, I considered myself a demi guy or a demi boy, and I needed, like, the he, him pronouns obviously was to reflect the male part of the identity, but there was another part that was more other, not as male, not as masculine, and I wanted pronouns that reflected that. I immediately did away with they, them pronouns. I didn't even consider those because the idea of being referred to as they, them, theirs made me very dysphoric. I think being referred to with those pronouns would be like make me very dysphoric because I don't know, a lot of people use them to, like, if they don't know the gender of the person, or if the person doesn't have a gender, or if the person is, not male or female at all, they, them pronouns are typically used for that. And I didn't want that. Particularly, I mean, I know that anyone can use they, them pronouns, but particularly the usage of they, them to denote, like, I don't know the gender of this person. So I am degendering them, ungendering them in my mind, that I didn't like the idea of that. So they, them pronouns were off the table. But I needed something that sounded soft, that sounded like they fit, they looked nice, they sounded nice, they fit really well in a sentence, especially like when specifically referring to me in the third person. And I was kind of poking around the pronoun dressing room website, and I came across Amair's pronouns. I didn't know that Amair's pronouns had so much history. I believe that set is from the 80s. I believe so, and they're called Spivak pronouns. It's the last name of the person who came up with the pronouns, and they were a pronoun option on like an old forum on the internet. So I came across those, and they just sounded really nice and simple. They sound great pluralized. I used to specifically want them to be used in the singular grammar, and then I realized that people don't adapt really well to that. Like, they will revert to the plural depending on the sound of the pronoun. So some pronouns will automatically be in the singular grammatical format just because that's just how it flows. But I realized people were referring to me with these pronouns in the plural grammatical format, and I realized they actually sound okay that way. I was trying to avoid the plural pronouns because it would remind me too much of they, them, theirs, but I realized it doesn't really, once you hear that pronoun set being used, they don't sound that much like they, them. I mean, they're basically they, them, just without the th, but I thought they sounded fantastic, so I adopted them. And I also, for some strange reason, wanted to use nay, nem, nairs pronouns. I think at the time I had a headmate that would use nay, nim, nis pronouns, or nay, nim, near, and it was kind of a combination of am and nay, nim together for nay, nair, or nay, nem, nair. I could not remember my own spelling of those pronouns, or how the set was, because they were very uncommon. But I like the sound of them, and I wanted to experiment with pronouns that started with a consonant instead of starting with a vowel. And then I realized I really like the ones that don't start with consonants. I like how soft pronouns are when they start with an A or an E, so I dropped that third set of pronouns and started using Amairs, or experimenting with them. And after a while, they really, I really settled into them. I started putting he, him, or am in every social media profile that I had, even ones where I knew people I knew in real life would see them, just because I wanted to get used to saying these are my pronouns and get people using them more often. And on some platforms, I would only go by Amair's pronouns. But I also, I really want to experiment with spelling variations of Amair's, so am-es, or airs, or using air self instead of m self, am without the y. There's a lot of different spellings. There are so many variants, but I haven't really settled on any spelling variant that isn't just the classical Amairs that I've been using. Airs also sometimes is just er. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because it's leaning more toward, they look kind of like she, her a little bit. They don't really, but that's what they kind of remind me of. So I didn't know if they fit as well as air, EIR is. I haven't really considered any other pronouns. I have a tiny collection of pronouns that I like the sound of, that look really nice, but I don't use for myself. I like pronouns. I just have a weird special interest in pronouns. So, I mean, I would love to take on more pronouns, but I think limiting my pronoun sets to just 2 kind of narrows down my, not narrows down, but it kind of fits me better if I'm using very specific pronouns instead of a very wide range, because I don't consider my gender experience to be very expansive. It's a very specific experience that has 2 very specific parts coming together, and I want pronoun sets that reflect those 2 parts. So having 2 sets of pronouns works just fine for me, or at least 2 categories. Pronouns that are similar to he, him, and pronouns that are similar to Amairs, to balance out and reflect both parts of that identity. And I hope everyone's enjoying this series on pieces of me, basically. I'm just kind of experimenting with the shorter content, and at the moment I'm not really getting feedback on what people think of this series, because I'm recording these one after another, and I haven't even uploaded them yet. The first episode hasn't even uploaded, and I'm already this far in the series, 6 videos in. So I have no idea what people are going to think of this series yet, but I hope that it's at least easy to digest content, shorter form content, so that people will actually sit and watch and get a more condensed version and a less scripted version of stories of my gendered experience. Anyway, I am signing off for now. See you later.